What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. And trust me, today we have got some interesting topics to talk about. We've got Eze on the agenda, plus Olise, and as you can see from the title, Nusa as well. Key players, important players. As always, we want you involved in the show. So if you do enjoy it, hit the like button, subscribe, and get involved by letting us know your thoughts in the comment section as well as we speak. I'm joined by T here as usual. T, how you doing, man? Every day you're looking fresher and younger.
Doing good, man. Benjamin Button style, fresher, younger every day.
What do you have for breakfast, man? I don't know what time it's there, but you always look fresh.
Man, I wake up and piss greatness. That's pretty much how it works.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Well, look, you never know. Maybe one day, your son, just like Bronny James, is going to be working with his dad in the NBA.
Hey, man,
maybe one day,
I want him to be doing so much more than me, but we'll see, man. We'll see.
Maybe Memphis can be an office in Palace News with you.
I would love him to become a Palace fan. So
exactly.
hopefully
that's
happens.
your job. You better.
Yeah.
You better. You must not.
Absolutely.
You must not lack. That's your job. That's it. Does he enjoy football?
Yeah, he's really getting into it, man.
Okay, that's good. That's good to
loves
hear.
watching the matches and stuff. So
We need to make him a Palace fan. That'll be you can't be not a Palace fan. You have to.
That's ideal.
No pressure, but you have to. Look, as we spoke about at the start of the stream, we're gonna be starting off with Nusa, then we'll talk about Eze, Olise. And if you do have any questions, feel free to let us know by putting a Q and a dot before it, and we'll answer them at the end of the show. The Q and a dot just makes it easier to see your questions, as there's normally a lot of comments that come through. Andy's saying, let the season start already. Are you ready for it, T? I mean, start of next week is going to be preseason.
I guess, I mean, I'm definitely getting there. I mean, kind of enjoying the window right now and the comings and the goings and things like that. But yeah, the itch, I think the itch for me usually starts early July.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, early July is next week in a few days.
Yep.
So
That's usually when it kicks in.
Exactly. When you see the players out on the training ground. Well, let's talk about a player that we've been linked with before. Even Olise was rumored to leave the club, and there is an update on Olise as well if you're just joining us right now. And that is on Antonio Nusa, who, according to the Palace Way, the player is keen to join Palace after being convinced by the long-term project. And according to the Palace Way, also is that we have made Antonio Nusa our summer top target to replace Michael Olise. However, Crystal Palace are reluctant to part with more than £20 million to sign Nusa, but believe a deal is doable. The interest, as we mentioned on yesterday's Palace News, in Sule remains, but a high fee that he would command is likely to be a stumbling block. We also mentioned Nusa yesterday, T. £20 million, though, in this report. £20 million is anything above £20 million. Maybe Palace might object to it, but they say that, and they believe a deal is doable. You mentioned fees yesterday as well, but I mean, £20 million for a player with his potential and his talent, that would be a fantastic bit of business, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it seems like that 20 million threshold is kind of our ballpark for bringing in high level young talent. I mean, you think about Eze, you think about Decore, you think about Adam Wharton. All those guys have been around that 20 million pound amount, which I think it makes sense. It's a fair offer. In this Nusa situation, it's just going to be interesting because we all know they had the deal agreed. Was in January
With
Brentford, and it was right around 31 million. And I know that fell through after some health issues or things that happened with his medical. But interesting to see what we're trying to finagle. It may be something where we're still offering around 20, but there may be some add-ons in there to get it up a little higher, or sell-on clauses, things like that to help try and sweeten the deal to make it go our way.
Yeah, I mean, there will always be selling clauses with all these players with potential. Adam Wharton will have one Gahey. I'll be very shocked if there's no selling clauses. That's only bound to happen because of the amount of potential that they have. But Animal's comment here, I'll bring up again, he's saying that his numbers aren't great. Can't see us paying over £20 million. Are you concerned about his production levels?
Not truly.
I'll read them out as well now for you and for the viewers as well. I mean, he's played 20 games for his club, 3 goals, 3 assists over in Belgium. In the Europa Conference League, 7 appearances, 1 goal, and qualifiers, 6 appearances, 1 assist. So in the league wise, got 6 goals, 6 goal contributions, 3 goals and 3 assists in 20 appearances. For a player that is highly rated for different. I think he's more rated for what he shows on the pitch by the eye test, more his actual numbers. Is that what gives you the confidence because of what you've seen of him rather than
and I think it's just one of those things where the dollar amount that we're looking at is off his potential and his ability, the youth aspect of it. He is already a full-fledged international for his country, which is Norway. I mean, he's playing beside guys like Martin Odegaard and Erling Haaland. It kind of it's very similar to what we saw from Matthias França. França didn't have amazing numbers coming to us from Flamengo. He wasn't even a solidified starter for them. You know what I mean? In comparison, in this situation where Nusa is the starter at I believe left wing. He started most of the matches at left wing, so he's solidified in the first team for the starting 11 too. So I mean, I think there's reasons to see why that number is up there the way it is.
Yeah, look, for me, I think it's more than just production. I'll be honest, I didn't even look at numbers before. I was more watching him and seeing what he can do rather than looking at his goals and assists. But it is a fair point to make about his numbers if you do, if you are concerned about that side of things, because it's not the greatest of numbers, especially in the league that he's playing in. But I think when it comes to our scouting network, we haven't had any problems when it comes to numbers. Say someone left a comment saying, I think it was unfortunate, saying Adam Ward's numbers were not the best either. I don't know. I didn't even look at Adam Ward's number.
He didn't really have any. He didn't have any numbers. I mean, he didn't have any goals. He didn't have a lot of assists. I think when we picked him up, he only had like 2 assists. So, but at the same time, different positions. You know what I'm saying? We're asking different things of each guy, but I would definitely say even so with what Adam Ward is doing with us right now, he doesn't really have a ton of assists or goals or anything. But that's not necessarily what we're wanting him for. You know what I mean? So it's different.
I guess the next question to ask about Nusa is he's keen to join Palace, and Palace do believe that a deal is doable. Is his position? He's primarily a left winger. And a few people have raised this question, like he's a left winger, you can play down the right, but that's his position. In terms of replacing Olise, which we know plays on the right-hand side, could that be a problem where he actually plays for his club level? Like, where would it be Eze moving down the right? Would we try to bring him down the right? Like, how do you see this working?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, the one thing I can say from watching the little bit of Nusa that I've seen is that he's competent with his left foot. He'll shoot with it. He'll score with it. He doesn't seem to try to only favor his right foot. Now, however, what that looks like on the other side of the pitch and playing consistently on that right side and how that works for us, I don't know. Like I said on the last show, I was actually surprised that a lot of the guys that we're looking at being replacements so far that have been linked with us for Olise aren't left-footed players like Olise is. A lot of these guys are right-footed. Joe Bellingham.
But he wasn't really playing that Olise role. But Bellingham, I'm not as concerned as much. I think Bellingham, maybe, I don't know. We spoke about Bellingham.
I mean, he played some striker for Sunderland last year.
I thought maybe, yeah. Well, you could be. Yeah, you're right.
7 goals. He very much attacking for the majority of his time there. But I think he has the versatility to play, across those positions. But nonetheless, the footing is more what I'm saying. Like, he's a right-footed player. So is Nusa. In comparison to looking at guys that are left-footed to be on that side. I'm just, like I said, I was just a little bit surprised that we haven't really seen as much links with left-footed players.
What's Sule? Is Sule left-footed as well?
Sule's left-footed. Sule's left-footed.
Look, well, Olise, we saw it. He cuts down
Yep.
with left foot on the right hand side. So I guess the plan is, regardless of where they play, as long as they're competent with their left feet, then that's what that matters. If they ain't, then I think that's where the problem rises. But with Nusa that we're even talking about right now, we are saying that he scored some goals with his left foot as well. So it's not like he can only.
And they've done advanced scouting. Like it's not like they haven't been scouting these guys and have confidence that they can do it. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I don't think they would be looking at these guys if they didn't feel like they could do the role. But.
Yeah, Andy's saying maybe he will continue to push the 2 number 10s. Then a foot preference isn't as important. Earth is saying Jack Clark and Nonto looking interesting for Palace as well. I think both of those players have been linked. I think Clark was linked more recently than Nonto. I don't know. I was away, so I haven't
heard anything. I haven't heard anything about Nonto in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that's kind of died down. But I mean, it's good that the player is keen. I don't think there should be a problem, even though he plays left wing. I think as long as he's good with his left foot, I think he could slot in that Olise role. And if Palace think the deal is doable and we won't pay more than £20 million, I think that's a good deal. I think that's where we pretty much, from what we've been doing so far in terms of buying these players, it seems like the 20 million mark is where we're aiming towards. We're not really trying to pay more than £20 million. So it kind of fits into the category there, which Sule doesn't, because Sule, of course, the fees that are reported around him is around £30 million. So I think Nusa makes more sense in that aspect. But let us know what you think about the Nusa links. Would you want him as Olise's replacement? As I said to people that's joining now, we'll be giving an update on Olise, an interesting update on Olise, as well when we further down the show. But if you're enjoying the stream, people, hit the like button. Takes a second of your time, helps grow the channel overall as well. Hilzo saying, I'm confident Glasner will get his numbers up. He's good at improving players. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Glasner's done that.
That is true. And that's undeniable.
Yeah, exactly. So it has happened. So it's just a matter of, let's just see what happens. And then, yeah, if we do get him, I have faith that he'll be able to replace Marco Olise anyways. But let's talk about Eze. He's been linked as well with a few clubs. Ever since the Olise news, there's been the twist of the news has been towards Eze now. And people are worried, saying, is he going to be leaving as well? Well, according to the Palace Way, once again, Eze is happy at Palace and prioritizing game time plus project despite interest from Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and Tottenham. Crystal Palace are relaxed about his future. Liverpool have been in contact with Eze's representatives. However, this was merely just brief talks and not advanced. It is unlikely Liverpool will act on the interest at this moment in time. When I was away, I saw bits and bobs with Eze as well. I didn't pay much attention to it. Liverpool, Tottenham, those were the reports. But according to the Palace Way, he seems like he's happy at Palace. Crystal Palace are relaxed, but Palace will also relax with Olise. Are you still having concerns about Eze, or do you think that he will remain at the club? Because that's another player with a release clause.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you never know. I mean, if somebody comes in and they are fulfilling all of they're checking off all the boxes as far as the release clause is concerned, it's not a ton that we can do. But the one thing I will say, and I do truly think that is if we lose an Eze, and an Olise in this window, which we stand to potentially do, according to the reports, I think it's going to be a lot harder for teams to hopefully. I know the club is going to be working harder to keep Eze, I would say, but I don't think it's out of the question at all that you can see him leave still. I mean, I think it's still a real possibility.
Yeah, well, according to the reports, it suggests that he's happy at Palace.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. With Eze, I was more worried about than Olise. I don't know why. Maybe because Olise, we know he's well advised, and we've seen him reject Chelsea last summer. With Eze, we haven't really seen. We've seen interest, but we haven't seen any teams push for him yet. So we don't know exactly how he's thinking towards the Palace project or so. I know he signed a new deal, but it's good. It's good to hear that he is happy at Palace. He is prioritizing game time. And remember, the reason why Eze is in the England squad is because of the game time he's had at Palace. And if he joins a Liverpool, if he joins any of these other teams, that game time might be limited. Then all of a sudden, Eze's out of the England squad. All of a sudden, Eze's not getting game time. And your career could just one step forward, 2 steps back. Like, it's not as straightforward as, you join a top 6 club, everything's great. Eventually, he will join it. I don't think these players are in a rush. Just like Olise. Olise is joining a very big club. Izzy. We'll talk about that next. I think he is still, but there's a
Mm-hmm.
twist in the latest reports with it. But you know, if you're joining a Bayern Munich or a club like that, then yeah, you take the gamble. But Tottenham for me doesn't really make that much sense. Liverpool, of course, you know, they've got a new manager, so there's question marks there. But I guess time will tell. The latest reports are positive. He seems happy at Palace, so we'll see.
Yep.
Andy saying Eze has been let go by many bigger clubs. We gave him the
Yep.
Premier chance. Maybe that plays on his mind. Could be as well because he understands
Yep.
what could happen. Irv saying Arteta likes Eze, so we will see if Arsenal puts in a bid for him. Even if they do, I just don't see Arsenal spending that kind of money on Eze. I'll be honest. Maybe
And
I'm wrong,
still, if Eze makes that move, it goes back to what you just said about his the amount of playing time. You know, he's going to be
yeah, that's awesome.
competing
Yeah,
with guys. In particular, if he's trying to play on the left side, it will be Gabriel Martinelli. If he's trying to play through the middle, he's going to be competing against Martin Odegaard for minutes. You know what I mean? So
yeah, so you won't have that. But then again, with these top clubs, I mean, majority of these players are in similar position. It's very hard to, you know, be a consistent starting 11 player.
yep.
But yeah, I don't know exactly where Eze would fit in Arsenal as well. I guess he'll play in like a central role, but Odegaard has got his spot.
Mm-hmm.
He'll play somewhere in the midfield or as a backup option, and I just don't think he wants that. And I don't think any of these clubs can really give him guarantee. Maybe a club like Tottenham can, maybe, but then again, I mean, he wants to win things. With all due respect, Tottenham's history doesn't prove anything along them lines to win stuff. So, you know, he can join another club at that level. Now, let's talk about Olise and Alan Nixon. There's a comment here. Who was it from? It was from Luke saying Alan Nixon is our favorite journalist for now. And the reason why I said this is that Alan Nixon is actually reporting on Olise's future right before we went on air. And he said that Olise agreed personal terms with Bayern Munich and the agent fee has also been agreed. But Bayern are still trying to knock down the fee. Palace are standing firm. He's going, right? Surely. It is going to happen, right?
I would say we've seen crazier things happen. We've seen much crazier things happen as far as deals falling apart for one reason or another. For the same reason why we as Palace fans are saying, a lot of us say, hey, until he's holding the shirt, until the pen is to paper, it might not be a real thing. You know, I mean, we all know what happened with us in Flynn Downs. I mean, the man has shot his video with us. You know what I'm saying?
Probably
So
still
who
saying on the
knows,
camera
man?
somewhere.
Right, it's still somewhere.
Well.
I mean, you think about, was it Nebel Fekir had the same thing with Liverpool? They said he had already shot all of his content and everything, and then decided to go to Betis. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's not the end until you see that guy put pen to paper and hold up the shirt.
Let me just add to what Alan Nixon said as well. He said further on, he said that Palace are demanding their asking price in full for Olise as Bayern tried to close a deal. Bayern found it was £43 million to open talks, but it has increased £50 million to buy him. Olise has yet to be cleared for the medical, and Palace are happy to wait for the full figure. I mean, there's no reason for us to budge because one, we don't want to lose Olise, and two, that fee as it is still ridiculously low for Olise. Like, it's a ridiculous deal for Olise. Like, they're getting a good deal. I know we're getting a nice amount of profit and we're getting more money than last summer, but I totally get it. Like, why would we budge? Like,
right, and we're not because we're not in a situation where we have to sell or we're desperate to sell. You know, so we're definitely in a very good position as far as the negotiations and the tactics are concerned.
Look, let us know in the chat if you think maybe you're a bit more confident or not. I'm still relaxed about the situation. For me, he's a Bayern Munich player until something changes. But as the days go on, we reach towards the end of the window. As long as he remains a Crystal Palace player, I'm happy. We're approaching July right now, and you know, let's see if Bayern are going to be that tight. Surely not. Surely they will end up paying the figure that Palace won, and this still gets concluded because it's still a low figure for Olise. It still is. It would be ridiculous if they pull out the move at this point now. But if you have any question, just like Ian has put in the chat, we'll answer it at the end of the show. Put a Q in the dot, and we will get it all covered. Abs Eagle saying Malcolm Ebiwe should be given more game time to prove himself. Absolute baller. Yeah, he looked good in preseason under Vieira. I remember in that preseason tour, I think it was over. Was it over in Singapore? Where was it? Yeah, if he's Singapore, he looked good, but he hasn't really had much game time under any managers.
And that's the thing. I mean, but he also hasn't done much on loan at any of the stops he's been on loan either. He didn't do anything in Hull City. He didn't do anything in Belgium. I think the worry is, I mean, you're not just going to step onto the Premier League pitch and just be the guy. So if you can't prove that you can, be worthy of game time in loan situations, we're not going to see Malcolm Ebioe anytime soon unless he can get it right with one of these loan moves. I don't think that he's just going to be tossed in there to Premier League matches and minutes all of a sudden out of nowhere. I just don't see that happening.
Herb saying, could Bayern do a deal buying Olise with a Bayern? There's so much buying in the sense. Could Bayern do a deal buying Olise with a Bayern player in the mix? This feels like a word twist. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I mean, who would Bayern offer for Olise? I don't think
that, especially so who they offer that we would want. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, the fee's already low. So it's like, who would they offer? Would there be a player that we want? How much fee would we get? I think,
and it's not like they haven't shelled out crazy amounts of money on players in the past. They spent $100 million on Harry Kane. They spent like $80 million on Matthias de Ligt.
Yeah, and also I don't know if we don't want to get rid of Olise, right? So why would we want to do a player swap? Like if we're sending Olise, give us the money. That's it. Like, give us the money. We're trying to make the situation as hard as possible, hopefully. Because ideally, you don't want to sell Olise. So don't really give them alternatives. Tell them this is it. This is it. If you want Michael Olise, here is our figure. That's it. The fact that his medical is not booked, according to Alan Nixon, that is good, positive. But as I said, I'm not saying that the deal is off. I still think that Olise will eventually join Bayern because they're not that stupid. They're not. Well, from what I've gathered about Bayern over the years, they shouldn't be that stupid. Leroy Sané, please. There's no way Leroy Sané comes over.
I'm not getting him. That's not a good move for us. I think we're losing in that situation. Give me somebody like Mathis Tel or something.
Yeah. I don't think that's definitely not going to happen. But people, if you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button. If you're just joining us now, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. It just helps our algorithm, helps grow the channel, which we've been doing. We're very close to 5,000 subscribers. As always, thank you to all of you. But if you can hit the like button, if you're enjoying it, that would be much appreciated. Thank you to every single one of you that's done that. We're going to go through some of the questions after last few comments on Michael Olise. Martin saying Olise should be 70 to 80 million pounds. To my mind, when you look at some of the transfers like Maguire, Anthony, and Rice, 100% agree.
I agree.
Northampton. I just remixed it. Northampton Eagles saying, I can't see them coughing up 59 million euros in one go, though, which is good for us. If they don't want to, then don't get Olise. That's fine. That works for us. I mean, I'd rather keep Olise than get all that money. So that's fine.
You want the man, pay the freight. Let
this drag on. Let this drag on. Let this be a headache. See, Parish, what have you got for us? Just make a headache. Just make a headache for Bayern Munich. Don't make it easy for them. Samuel saying if Olise has declared his intent to leave but ends up staying, is the love still there from the fans? I don't think Olise has declared his intent to leave. Olise has actually declared that he's happy at Palace. If Olise was so keen to leave, Olise would have left for Chelsea last summer and done us 30 last summer, or he would have even left this summer for Chelsea. Olise, and
he's still doing us a favor by looking at Bayern and going to Bayern rather than going to Chelsea or Man City. I would not love him. I would love him the same if he stayed. I would not treat him any different.
Two things can still happen. You can be happy at Palace and still be happy with a move away as well. You can be happy enough to say, I want to stay at Palace if my offers are Chelsea, Man United. But, also if Bayern Munich come, then I'll be happy to move on as well. Like, there's no sense that Olise is upset at Palace from all the reports. Even this one, going to Bayern Munich. It's just Bayern Munich is a Champions League club, and that's what he wants. If not, he's still happy at Palace. It's not like he's desperate, and it's not like he's been pushing for this move. He just come out, Bayern Munich's interested, and he said, yeah, that's fine. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to play for Bayern Munich? He's done it in the Premier League, had a bit of experience there. Now, get to play for a Champions League club with top quality players. So I have no problem about Olise's way of approaching this manner. I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think he's helped us as well. Hills though saying, I don't hate the man. Exactly. I'm there as well. Look, let's go through some of the questions now before we wrap up, people. Ian saying, has anyone heard rumors about Mateta? I haven't. I mean,
I haven't heard anything to this point.
They started early June, late May, but it started and ended straight away.
And we haven't heard anything about a contract extension for him either.
Yeah, I guess that could happen during the season, but
yeah. Which I would prefer it to, honestly, because you don't want to give him the money and he comes out and flops.
Exactly, but Palace do not want to sell Mateta. We know that for sure, especially Glasgow. Right. Like, it's worked out for him, and it is working out for Mateta as well. He's playing Premier League football, scoring goals. So there's been no rumors as of lately, anyways, about Mateta's future. But one to watch out for is his contract situation. Let's see what happens during the season. I think it'll be more during the season rather than during this off season, because I think we've got bigger priorities right now. Older Bear saying, will Turkey win the Euros?
Oh
no.
Semis maybe.
Austria beat us 6-0, I think. Only like,
hey man, that was then, man. This is now. It's all about form. How we playing right now?
I went on TikTok as well, and I saw Austria post it. I don't know why the Austrian national team page is coming up on my profile. I saw Austria post that they beat Turkey 6-0. They're posting memes and stuff, man. I don't know if that's the right thing to do before a game like this. You're just gonna have
bulletin board material.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I don't think Turkey will win the Euros. Irv saying, if the English FA asked you to become the England manager, would you take it?
Yes, I would, but I would need D to be my assistant manager. I would need Patrick to be my goalkeepers coach. I would need Stan to be.
You made Patrick your goalkeepers coach. Patrick doesn't play goal. He doesn't play goal. He knows nothing about.
He used to coach. He was a goalkeeper coach. That's what he did.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's a goalkeeper coach.
I thought he was a normal coach.
I would need Stan on like my front office staff, and we'd have to give AJ midline front row tickets to every match. That's
AJ's just the first person to get tickets. That's the role.
My dog AJ gets the front row.
He's not involved in the training. He's not involved with running the whole thing. He's just there.
Hey, my man, busy, man. You know how much that man working, man. He just get to come to the games and relax.
Yeah, exactly. Well, head steward works for AJ. If you knew what he's working for, I won't reveal it because that's his personal information. But it does make sense. It does make sense. I hear where you're coming from, what you're thinking. But I mean, AJ could be a coach as well. It'll be hard. But yeah, let's just say this: we won't be as dumb as Southgate.
Oh, we're gonna do way better than Southgate. I'm sorry.
Tactically, we're not sitting back. I'm not
going to see.
If you ever told me we're sitting back against Slovenia, I'll say, T, hand in your papers right now. You're not fit for the job. I'll tell you. If you want me to be assistant, I'll be real with you.
We're not going to see Kieran Trippier starting at left back.
Yeah, exactly. Mitchell would be in the squad. Let's just say that. We'll approach it sensibly rather than just be the Mr. Nice guy to the media for the last 8 years or so. But yeah. But nice question. Adam was saying, would you play Walter next game if you were managing England? I feel like we're getting interviewed for the England job right now more than anything.
100%, man. Let's start the petition.
The fact that he's got no minutes is a bit weird in itself.
It's wild.
He just feels stubborn. It feels like stubborn approach.
the way he prefers. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that he prefers. Manu to him or anything, because maybe he just sees it as two different. I mean, maybe he just sees it as two different midfield positions, and that Wharton is strictly the backup to Declan Rice rather than being an alternative to playing next to Declan Rice. But I don't know, man. I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten any minutes. Let me just say that I'm surprised he hasn't gotten any minutes.
Do you think he will get any minutes from here to the end? The end might even be next game. You never know.
I stand to say that he probably may not get any. And
what surprises me, okay, Walton, there's a point there. It's been surprising that he hasn't got any minutes. But in certain games, when you're looking at what's needed and some bit of creativity to try and score some goals and run at defenders, Eze done that in the friendlies as well. He looked exciting in the friendlies. I'm surprised that he hasn't took a gamble on Eze as well. That's the problem with Southgate, and that's why I would never want him as Palace manager, because he's just negative. He's just scared.
Yeah, part of it, I think part of it is just the way Eze plays isn't the way that Southgate wants England to play. I don't know if he doesn't want a guy to be on the ball and be creative like that. I don't know. Because when we watch England, like I talked about last time, they play a very, very stagnant and boring brand of offensive football. And being that that's how if that's his ethos, if that's how he wants to play, then somebody like Eze being in there doesn't suit you as well because of his style of play and what he has to do to be effective in the side. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, but I guess this is the positive from Swamp saying at least they can't get injured if they don't play. That's something, yeah. As long as
and their value won't their value can skyrocket too if they play too much, or the interest may skyrocket if they do too well too. So there are other things that definitely play into it.
Let's see what happens with Gahey, because Gahey's gained a lot of credit, and rightly so, because I think it's been great for England. But so far, them credits haven't really translated to transfer rumors. Like I haven't seen anything about Gahey. It's been quiet, so he's been playing well for England.
And that's always been the thing, because before everything kicked off in the window, Gahey was the one that we were all talking about leaving. He was like, he was the one, he's the one that we afford to lose, and this, that, and the other. And you haven't heard really any rumors about Gahey leaving. You haven't, you've heard very little on him.
I think when I was away, I saw a rumor about him potentially.
Yep, potentially wanting to sign. Yeah, they said after Euros, they would get to the negotiating table.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm surprised, because I thought it would be Gahey the one to leave this window, but let's see. There's still that 2% hope with Olise after that report today. If you're just joining us now, according to Alan Nixon, Palace are not willing to budge on the demand for Michael Olise. So the medical hasn't been confirmed just yet. So let's just see what happens. I mean, the longer it goes on, I guess if he ends up leaving and the longer we drag it on, it doesn't really work in our favor as well. So we have to kind of
because the longer it drags out, the less time we had to replace it.
Exactly. So we have to be careful. Careful with
it. Absolutely. But luckily, the thing that works in our favor is the fact that we've been doing this negotiation. It started earlier in the window. We're not going through this negotiation towards the end of it, where if it finally goes through, then we're only left with a very small amount of time. Hopefully, if this gets ironed out over the next week or two, we still have ample amount of time to get something done.
Yeah. Let's see. But for me, just let it drag on. Now I'm willing to play that game. We're approaching July. Frustrate Bayern, do whatever you can, and if we're losing, we're losing. But just don't make it easy. Because we don't want to lose them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and then I'm not going to even say the words. Let's just see what happens. But if it was to stay, then we wouldn't need a replacement, would we? That we're talking about right now. So
yeah, it's a different conversation. It's a different caliber of player that you're talking about possibly bringing in and looking at too.
Yeah. Well, look, people, we're going to wrap up now. If you've just joined us literally at this moment of time, go to the start of the show. We'll talk about Nusa, Eze's latest, Olise's future, and more. And if you do enjoy the content, like, subscribe. That's it from me and T. As always, if there's anything related to Palace, we will be here covering it. So subscribe if you haven't already done so. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.